National Institute of Business Management, also known as NIBM, is a higher education institution that has dedicated itself to foster intellectual growth, innovation and excellence. Established with the mission to empower leaders of tomorrow, NIBM has a rich academic achievement and a commitment to shaping the future of Sri Lanka. One of the milestones NIBM has stepped into is adapting themselves into an outcome-based learning system which has been introduced by none other than Dr. D.M.A. Kulasooriya, who is the Director General of NIBM, who also has a profound background in transforming industries and education systems. We also have Professor Ananda Chandrasekera, who has come all the way from Wayaba University of Sri Lanka. He acts as a professor in the Department of Applied Nutrition. So, to set the foundation for this discussion today, I would like to ask Dr. Kulasooriya to basically give us an idea about what the outcome-based learning system is about.
Yeah, in fact, the outcome-based learning system we have started 3 years back, and it started with training faculty and training learners as well as the parents also, and we talk to them as well. And this is not a new concept, of course. This has been practiced by many universities at global level and here in Sri Lanka also, and we were talking about outcome-based learning for a long time. But the issue is implementation of the same. And we wanted to implement outcome-based learning system in reality and in real life with the support of our learners, so that we would be able to improve the quality of life and the quality of education of our learners here at NIBM. So that is how we started, and we started 3 years back basically because with the outbreak of pandemic and all that, and we had to go online, and we digitalized our courses and we were delivering our courses online. And we train our learners also during that period to getting information from online, and we thought of it's high time for us to go for this new teaching technology, and without time moving into the normal situation again, and we wanted to have the new normal situation in the field of education. That is how we started. And as I said at the beginning, it was really tough time, and after starting this we got a lot of issues also, and parents thought that we very radically we told the public that we are going to stop examinations. All our learners from the schools, and they have got used to this system, not only learners but parents as well, and they would like to see that we are having a tough examination and they are going through the process and making sure that they are getting grades. But the learning process is completely different thing. Learning life, learning about the universe is very important, that you need to relate your learning experience with your own talents and giving more time in the classroom to talk about some of the issues coming out of the domain that you are learning. So we wanted to give more time to talk about problem solving skills and various issues related to your subject rather than just giving information. Today the content is available online. So I think all the platforms are open for our learners, and we have digitalized our courses, and we have recording and various type of content. Now it is available with our system also, in our learning management system. So we just did it. So now our learners can start learning things before coming to the class, because we have mounted all the content online. And they have different approaches also, and they have AI facilities and various type of technologies available. They can learn things about the subject online, and when they come into class, now our teachers or the faculty members, they are having enough time, because the content is now uploaded into the system, enough time to discuss some issues coming out from our learners. They can ask questions, and they can have brainstorming sessions. They can do lots of activity-based learnings, and they can help our students to go for self-learning and peer learning. All these methods can be applied in the classroom because they have enough time, rather than just covering the your coursework or the curriculum. Now they have enough time to questions and learn new things in the classroom. So after finishing the classroom, we give some assignments and various things based on the outcome-based learning, so that they can apply the theories that they have learned in the classroom in real life. So, starting with before coming into the class, they have a prior learning, and then in class they are questioning about the subject, and then they apply and see and experience and see how things are moving, whatever things they are learning. So, that is the real meaning of outcome based learning, and we started implementing it. It is a great success up to now, and there are lots of areas to refine and improve the quality of outcome based learning system here at NIBM also. But we are learning a lot on this, and I hope that I am very happy to tell you that our learners, they have they taken this in a positive way. At the same time, after educating our parents also supported us to go through this process. They understood the fact that it is very important to see that their children are very productive when they join industries. So, now we have convinced all the stakeholders of this whole process, and now they are really accepted well, and the only thing is now we need to develop more and more, and tell the public also that it is very important to go for outcome based learning rather than having examination and sitting for examination and just saying that you pass, you fail and in your life. So, that is not a nice thing. So, we do not appreciate that also. So, that is how we started here at NIBM, and we are really enjoying, and its learners are enjoying. I hope that it will be a great success in the years to come.
With this success of implementing OBL at NIBM, Professor, why do you think this outcome based learning system is important for other universities in Sri Lanka?
I think it's vital for Sri Lankan educational system to shift from, move from the traditional conventional education to outcome based learning system. Why I am telling that? Because our traditional or the conventional education system is mainly focused on the teaching. That means basically everything we do in our system is primarily focused on the teaching methods. But in outcome based learning, it's mainly we think about learning process, students learning. We always all the time we were talking about the student centered learning, but that incorporation of the student centered learning into the education system is not happening because of the fundamental problems of our education system is that as I said, that this conventional education system. For example, I can say that when a student comes to the university system or they integrated into the traditional university system, what we do is we ask students to select the certain subjects, streams to study, specialization. Very specifically, we have given the strict guidelines. These are the subjects that you need to select, and these are compulsory, and most of the time first 2 years there is no option for them to select even. And everything we give them a timetable saying that this is the time slot that we are going to teach you, rather than we do not ask student, general, I must say that there are certain exceptions, how the students is planning his learning process. So, then outcome based learning is more concentrated on the students own planning of his or her educational journey. So, that is the most important part, shifting, most important difference between the traditional and the outcome based learning process. So, I believe that it is high time for us to start changing this into because world is changing. With the the last several years, we know that as Dr. Kulasooriya mentioned that due to COVID and other problems we had, and our learning way of thinking about learning is changed. So, and the new technology has come, like with the introduction of the artificial intelligence and all those things. I think that the more focus on the teaching has to be changed, because there is the requirement for teaching the importance of teaching in the education process has been diminished, and now students are looking for the new avenues to learn. So there are enough avenues, then people can see that it's in the, there are enough way of learning rather than traditional lecture room class environment. What we are trying to say and the students are following. For example, we know that if you think about several years ago or maybe even 1,000 years ago, the education system is more focused on a teacher centered. And sometimes students go to their houses, and like example is in there are certain stories we can think about that in India or something, the students are living with the teacher and follow everything that gives you all the instruction given by the teacher, and do things and learning. It's like a kind of a slavery work doing that. And I think that currently also we have got some elements of this primitive type of learning, and we are not trying to adapt into the new way of learning, and that change, the focus is not that I must say that it's not that that change is not happening as we should expect. So therefore, I believe it is high time for us to start learning, start changing the learning behavior, more try to focus more on the student centers rather than think about the teacher centered learning that we have been practicing for the last several years.
So Professor, you talk about new ways of learning. How is this compatible with the current examination system that we have in place? And where do we stand when we compare ourselves with the international standards?
Okay, I think the examination is another problem we have, because in current traditional examination system, what we do is, it's like you have got, we'll say that 100 students coming to your class. What we do is, we are trying to put them into order, the best student to the weakest student. You put them into order rather than you are trying to get out of that. Our objective is to make them to order. We can say we are going to select the best student of the class. Same time, we are selecting the worst student of the class. So that is the problem of this one. So when you select one person, you are selecting several people failures, one success and several failures because of this exam system. Why do we need that? Who is going to benefit from that? I must say that when you get that, one person can be is a successful, but that doesn't mean that all others are not successful when they are working with the real life situation. What we need in education is, main focus is, we have to develop a person, skillful person to perform certain activity or certain job to the society, to which that society can benefit. So like example is, if you are going to, your main focus is trying to develop a career of, we'll say that doctor or surgeon or maybe some other person, pharmacist or something, that person should have ability to perform that activity. That is the one we need to check, rather than we are trying to put them into some kind of grading system. And the best grading, the sad thing is, we can't say that the best person which we have selected from the examination system is the best person to perform a certain activity, because we don't check that one. We check that one, but it's not our main focus. So in education system or examination system, we train students to get good grade in exam, but we don't have equipment in this current system to check whether actually this individual is performing the job that we want he or she to perform within the society. That is the issue in this problem, in this examination system. So I don't believe that in failures. Like you can pass certain students from the group, and you have to fail certain students from the group. It's like a normal distribution. We know that it is like that, but in reality it is not. For example, some more examples I can discuss about that existing system is, if you fail once, every time there is a stigma or there is some kind of labeling being attached to you that you are a failure. Then in our system also, we say that you are doing repeat exam, but you are not getting the, if even though you perform best, and now you have, because we know that results can be, it's a multifactorial thing. You, when you do the exams, you get the results because of the results are not basically depending on the individual's intellectual, there is no relationship all the time. There can be several reasons. So ultimately, he got failure, and he or she then doing the second opportunity to get that one, but we make some kind of restriction. Yes, if you, even though you perform well, you perform better than what you have done before or everyone, you are still getting the certain grade only because you are repeater. So nobody is benefiting from this kind of system, because the thing is, why can't we think that if the person can perform well in whatever the situation, that person should be awarded for that he or she is doing that one from the, the overall what we are looking for is a performance. But in our current examination system is not basically basically focusing on the performance. What we are trying to do is again grading system. You are a failure, you are doing it second time or third time. Therefore, I am talking about the university examination system or tertiary education. I am not talking about the primary or secondary. So that is the, the basic. Some of the people might say that it is very unfair for a person who did once, first try, got this grade, and someone is trying several times. But ultimately, who is going to benefit? What is the benefit for the society? That is what we do when we are developing products that can serve to the society to deliver certain function. So if the person can do that one, it doesn't matter for me according to that whether you are doing it the first attempt or second attempt or third attempt. That kind of a focus is there when you are thinking about, it's not there in the traditional conventional system. Therefore, that's why I am thinking the world is changing. People are, that kind of a mentality, that kind of a rules and guidelines are not existing in most of the countries, and they want to change it, because outcome-based learning is what we are talking about. We are looking for the outcome. We are not looking for the pathways. Whether the person learned from himself or whether the person is learning from the teacher or whether it is learning from someone else, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, outcome is the one matters.
So, based on all the challenges that Professor has laid out, Dr. Kulasooriya, how do you think we can change the education system in Sri Lanka, and how do you think we can get all the stakeholders that are involved in the education system to adapt into a new form of learning?
Yeah, it's a very challenging thing. Of course, it's our education system is huge. It's not simple thing as such. And if you looked at the number of schools, maybe 8,000 to 10,000 schools, and the teachers, of course, 240,000 students, and it's a big thing. Of course, the Ministry of Education is working on this, and hopefully, we believe that they would be able to get it implemented. And I would like to tell you something. It's a very much challenging things here in Sri Lanka is to when we started also this whole OBS system here at NIBM, it was a big challenge. And the first thing is we need to train the faculty, which is very important. The quality of the faculty will decide the quality of teaching. And I always, when I started this OBS system, I addressed the faculty members and told them that only thing that you should not do is teaching, as Professor said. Then of course I talked to different students. We started not only the first year, second year we started. The reason is because they have got used to this so-called examination system in schools. If we start at the beginning, they get the feeling that we are not supporting them to learn things. So that's the attitude that we are having in this country. As Professor mentioned very clearly, that our examination system is a process of elimination. It's not selecting them to the next level of their performance. So that's the huge issue. And other thing is, he perfectly said that, and the repetition, it's a universal principle. When you repeat something again and again, you will become a perfect person. It's a universal principle, all of us accept it. But in the process of examination, we don't believe that. That's the strange thing. So we are going against the basic universal principle and the human rights also. And you have no right to say that you have failed from exams. And when you have 3-hour exams or 6-hour exams, and you say that you have failed from your life and you are fast, and as you said, we are labeling, that is not correct way of accepting. So those are the challenges we are having. I think therefore that change of attitude of parents and learners and all the other policymakers and all the stakeholders of this whole education sector is very much important for us to make a change. We at NIBM, of course, and we are a self-financing institution, and we have we got the support of all the professionals, educators in this country like Professor Ananda and all the others, and so we are working on this. And that's what we are trying to inculcate these ideas in the minds of people in the long-term basis, probably maybe next 5 years to 10 years time, and the whole system should get changed. Otherwise, what happens is you are experiencing now that the young generation, they get the feeling that this country is not the suitable place for them to live. It's basically because they have a better lifestyle and the learning experience in other countries. And I think it's high time for us to get ourselves changed and tell the young guys that you have a great future here in Sri Lanka, and we are creating nice environment for you to learn things in our country. And it is up to the adults to make a change. And adults are waiting until the young generation is getting changed. That's a major issue here in Sri Lanka also. And I think it is it is our job. Our adults should get change first. And young generation already they got changed, and they are living with the current status of the society, and they are well connected with globally, and I think they are doing very well, and we are very much supportive of all these young generation to create a better life here at NIBM, so that they would be able to develop their capabilities, and finally they will become productive citizens in the country.
So Dr. Kulasooriya talks about mindset change, and he talks about the global exposure a learner gets. Professor, based on your global experience, how do you think we can change the lifestyle, the thinking patterns of our learners?
More particularly, as Dr. Kulasooriya mentioned, that we have to start thinking about adults. Importantly, teachers. Because the thing is, students, they can't make much changes because they are subjected to the certain scrutiny in institutions, and there are certain guidelines and all. We have to make changes of our rules and regulations. Why can't we think about opening? One of the thing is, like, I know that several universities in the world, most of the developed countries, what they do is they have subject selection specialties. Even the medical student can do music in their as a part of their subject. That kind of openness is there. In ours, even a single faculty, we can't change it to one department to another. That is not happening in other countries. We because of we can come up and say that this because of this, because of that, all those things are there, but it's not really happening, and we don't want to do that one. We want to have, as I said, that like ancient India, that the teacher is doing all it's like a ruler, or the student is a slave. I mean, we have, I must say that we have some elements of that mentality with us, and we still want to rule over the students to control that person. Good intention most of the time. I am not going to blame that they are having good intention, but that intention, even though what we are doing is wrong, because we have to give them enough opportunities and freedom of learning. I mean, we all are talking about the free learning environment, and all those things are there. Freedom of learning should be given to student, and student will be able to identify his or his learning process. He can say that I mean this is bit extreme. Sometimes maybe teachers don't want me to say something like that, but what I can say is, what is the point that we are talking about the attendance? Most of the students are talking about the attendance. Why? Because if you don't come to my class, I will fail you. I don't think that's a very valid argument. Why is that? If you can learn from anywhere, what's the point? Ultimately, you are measuring the outcome. So we are not thinking about the process. If you are thinking about the process all the time and say that you have to get the 80% attendance, you have to get. I'm completely talking against the existing rules. But what I'm saying is, I don't feel like these are correct things. If you really can learn from anywhere, or you can, because we have got, it's open now. We can't say that you have to learn from me. No, there are enough, and sometimes students can teach us more than we teach them. So that kind of a mentality should be, cultivated or developed into an education system. We know that different countries, they are doing practices. It doesn't mean that all countries what they are doing is they are the best thing. So probably we can come up with a much better mechanism to address the situation, because we know how our students are doing, how good these students. What we do is, most of the time, it's like some occasions more failures are. I mean, I don't have statistics, but we can see that how much of students are fail during the process from the grade 1 to the university level. In that, dropout rate is highest if you compare to the most of the developed countries. That is the sad story, and it has to be changed. And to change that one, we have to take immediate action on that. And what we can do is, we can express our opinion on that, but it's up to the people. Like, happy that Dr. Kulasooriya has taken that some of the implementations very successfully, and he's showing the real results on that. So I am very happy for him, because someone should start from somewhere to make a change into a success or good positive way.
I think Professor Chandrasekera has definitely given us something to think about. So Dr. Kulasooriya, with everything that has been said, how can we incorporate this into the NIBM culture?
Yeah, that, as I said, it was a great challenge at the beginning, and now I think we are getting the support of all. Parents also, they are supporting us, because we address them before enrolling students also. Generally we tell them this is how we work, and don't think that our teachers are not teaching, but we are creating a better environment for your learners to grow up in the process of learning. As the professor said, this most important is the learning process, which should be customized to our learners. So otherwise, I don't think that they would be able to have the real interest in getting into this learning process also, and they can develop more. And if you looked at the industry also, now industry is growing, and most of the international universities are coming to here, Sri Lanka. They would like to invest with us, and I think the future, this challenge, and is naturally created in the country, because we are globally open, and the whole thing is globalized, and our learners are well connected with the learning environment in the other countries. So therefore, it's a big challenge for educators to rethink about their learning process, and make a change as early as possible if you want to see that this country is developing fast. All the, I mean, if you looked at all the productive nations are basically based on high quality of educations. If you provide better quality of educations, you will see that all of you are doing well, very productive, and finally you have, I mean, high level of earnings also, basically because you have a real talents, skill, and you have competencies to deliver. So that is what we want to do. I think, since NIBM is owned by the government and we have initiated this in a big way, and we are working hard on this with the support of all the educators in the country. Hopefully, I think this will take as a positive message to the society and the educators in the country, and we would like to support in the years to come and to develop this learning environment for our future learners. And they are the real asset of us. And I am always with the youth basically because they are the real assets, and if you looked at next 30, 40 years, and they will take over the country whether you like it or not. So they are posing a big challenge for adults of this country also. So if you don't get change, you will lose your children. That's how it happens. You can cry and you can say that they have left us. It is no point of crying. And all the parents and all the adults must think it is because of you all they have left the country. So therefore, it's a big challenge for us to keep our children with us and to see that this country is growing with the human talents, real youth human talents in the years to come. That is what we are doing. I must thank Professor Ananda Chandrasekera and all the other educators here in Sri Lanka, getting this message throughout because he has a lot of global experience on this. I think this message will take in a positive manner and will take it up by all the policy makers as well as educators here in Sri Lanka.
Yes, I think NIBM definitely has a bright future with its profound leadership and collaborative partners that have come together to provide a quality education system for the learners of Sri Lanka. So I want to thank Dr. Kulasooriya and Professor Chandrasekera for gracing this discussion and making the time to come to create awareness of what this outcome-based learning system is all about. Thank you.